Somewhere along the Adriatic coast, tucked between limestone villages and thyme, lies a tiny little fishing village called Bakar, Croatia. I didn't come to the small little fishing village of Bakar, Croatia expecting anything. But sometimes the quietest little villages come with the loudest opportunities for clarity and peace. It held a lot of secrets for my healing. It gave me stillness to find peace, a quiet, unpolished beauty, and the people spoke English. Low tourism, it was near snorkeling, had amazing fresh food, humble charm, and the kind of place you're going when you're just not trying too hard. But some of the best discoveries come when you let yourself go and you're not trying so hard. So come with me today as I unpack the secrets of this little gem on the Adriatic coast. It only has 3 restaurants, and one of those 3 restaurants only offers one type of fish, and that's the catch of the day. It's a great catch, especially if you want to nourish not only your mind, but also your body. Caution to you, Bakar, Croatia has many steps, but there are many rewards. A Croatian morning. Nobody's out. Going downward in many steps to get to the town helped me to go inward. It's that intentional movement where every step has to be thought out. Your brain and your body meet on the ground. And that's where you do stop your mind and you can think clearly again. One of my favorite parts about this little fishing village was the mornings. I'm going to show you a quick excerpt from the morning. Morning in Bakar, Croatia, a tiny little fishing village. They're calm, they're slow, and you can watch the fishermen going out to go prepare their catches of the day. There's a lot about stillness, about working towards a goal slowly but surely, and those incremental things that are done behind the scenes to make the beauty of life. They're the unappreciated things, the diligence of those fishermen to go out in the storms because they want to come back with a catch so that you can enjoy that meal. There's so many details that are part of our lives that we're not noticing every day. You may feel like you're not being noticed. You may work out every day. You may feel like it's unnoticed. You may be meditating every day and wonder where you're going. But you'll find these incremental things add up. And before you know it, you've got muscles and you've got a sound mind. And that, my friend, is worth every ounce of effort. Now, where to stay in this little humble fishing village? I'm not an advertisement, but I stayed at a place on Airbnb that I found called the Lavender House. The Lavender House held a lot of significance for me. First and foremost, it had a balcony that looked out to the sea. In the mornings, I would use that time for reflection. And there was one morning that a storm came in, the clouds broke, and the rain started pouring. And at that very instant, I received a synchronicity from the universe. And that came in the form of a notification that gave me a lot of peace internally. Sometimes when you put love out into the universe, you may not get it back as the love that you're looking for, but you will get it back as peace. And peace resonates at a higher frequency than love. So tune into my video that talks about your frequencies of your emotions. And this is a real thing. For some, this may be disorienting because sometimes the truth is hard. But those feelings of disorientation are something you need to go through to grow. What I like to do when I'm on a trip is I like to get a little memento that represents and embodies how I'm feeling and my emotional state on the trip. And the Lavender House happened to be owned by someone that has a pottery business. So I got this magnet here that has the Lavender House on it. It also has a little blue door that was part of the house. It's kind of disorienting, and that was just like my mind. But the greatest peace comes from feeling through your emotions. And I felt through that storm, and I came out so much stronger and so much more peaceful. And peace resonates higher. There's so much beauty in the raw, pure emotions of your soul. And just like the rawness of your soul and the depths and beauty that that possesses, there's nothing more beautiful than raw, nourishing ingredients. And part of this trip that was really a hallmark for me was the food. My first stop was a little local market on the drive to Bakar. And you'll notice a theme here. You're gonna see a lot of this. It's good, it has antibacterial properties, and it may make your breath smelly, but it is worth it to me. And it's been said that it wards off vampires, and that is garlic. I got this little gem at a market. I'll flash out a picture for you. And it was €1 a bulb. So this whole thing was 15 bulbs. You can count them and see that I've been already eating on them. And it was definitely worth it. A lot of the garlic you get, at least in the States, is imported from China. And this stuff is grown locally, and you can tell it is very fresh. Nothing like fresh ingredients. So recommend the garlic as well as the tomatoes. They are the sweetest tomatoes I've ever had that reflect some of the sweetest people that I've ever met on this trip. One of the most unexpected lessons I learned from food here in Croatia was patience. I watched those fishing boats go out in the morning, and I watched them come back in the afternoon. Then I went to one of 3 restaurants in Bakar to reap what that fisherman sowed. And that was in the form of lovely, tasty, fresh fish. They had anything from your tiny little ones, your anchovies, your sardines, your sea bass, all of it. I was adventurous and I tried one of these little tiny fishes that they had. You'll see it in the picture. And it was insanely delicious and packed full of protein to nourish me through the trip. I find one of the best experiences is trying the local food, and you will be surprised to find the unexpected adventures that you will learn from that. I learned about the beauty and patience and all of the effort that goes into producing our local foods. Those fishermen are some unsung heroes. Another excerpt I have here is from the plethora of boxes you're going to see speckled around the soil. What are those boxes? They're bee boxes.
Bee boxes in Stara, Baška, Croatia.
Croatia is famous for its honey and its cultivation of a ton of different types. So I'm also going to show you here where I went to a local market and I talked through the various types of honey. Crazy enough, there was one particular type that's dark and thick and good for coughs. I'm going to grab that one right now. This one was the one that was great for coughs, and this is just your traditional honey. Very reasonably priced and straight from the source. I really find it important to give back to the local community, and that's where I like to put my money, is in fresh food. And having fresh food like this on a healing journey, there's no better way to think clear than nourishing your body. And lastly, one of the staples in my diet that you can't go wrong with is olive oil. There were a lot of roadside stands, and I got one of these from a family that cold presses it and has an olive grove right adjacent to the stand. Definitely recommend this. So from fresh fish, olive oil, garlic, tomatoes, to honey. Croatia really has it all in terms of food. And this type of food is going to give you clarity, not brain fog. And that is what you need when you are healing and what you need every day to bring your best self. Now, I will caution that Croatian roads have personality. And if you're going to Bakar, it's not for the faint at heart. You've got to really choose the road that you go down with purpose and be intentional. One moment you may be gripping the wheel, and the other you may be relaxed with a wide open road. And it kind of mimics life. Don't force things, go with the flow, expect the unexpected, and the only thing we can really get comfortable with is uncertainty. And this trip had me comfortable with uncertainty, especially in the next few clips, when we were barely making it through a one-way road where we had to put the mirrors in just to get through. And then when it was hard to focus on the road because of the beauty outside. So it will definitely test your driving skills, but it is well worth it. Now, not only is the town of Bakar equidistant from the most amazing snorkeling that you can get in Croatia, the kind that doesn't involve a lot of tourists, which is what brought me there, it also has some of the most beautiful Buddhist metaphors waiting for you to explore in the town. One of those particularly struck me when I saw a cannon with flowers coming out the other side. It reminded me of a Buddhist principle and fundamental that can really help anchor you in hard times, and that is turning those arrows into roses. What arrows are you holding in your quiver? I know for me this trip, I had a lot of arrows. I had a lot of stress that clarity could only lift for me. My challenge for you is to take those arrows and turn them into roses. How do you do that? First off, you really need to get serious about if you are bringing authenticity to that arrow. Are you leaning into your hardest challenges with love and kindness and a pure heart? If you are, I promise you that that arrow will be a rose one day. Just give it time. If not, if you're not bringing your best self, if you're carrying resentment, anger, deception, any of those negative frequency emotions, that arrow is going to stick and it is going to hurt, and that pain is inevitable. But take the suffering away, because we don't have to do that. Remember that pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. Take all those arrows and turn them into beautiful flowers, like only Bakar can show you. And stay tuned for this picture, which I thought was pretty amazing. This was a Buddhist principle waiting to be untapped, and there are many more. Now, this is a local secret that our Airbnb host told us about, which was Kostrena Diving Club. I'm gonna put a note in the bottom because I'm sure I didn't pronounce that just right. But this place was amazing. It was about 15 minutes from Bakar by car, free parking, and it had steps down to snorkel wherever you want. It's part of a diving club, and it's not all about sand, but it's about the underwater experience. And I'm telling you that watching fish floating above something beyond you is where I had some of my deepest insights. And you'll see that in my short about how you are the fisherman of your mind. When I was watching these fish go by, it reminded me of how many fish swim through my mind on a day-to-day basis. And it also reminded me that I can pick how long they last. I don't have to ruminate on a certain fish, and you don't have to either. You are in control of your mind. And peace comes from catching and releasing that fish. And that is a principle that was ingrained in me from hours of snorkeling. So here's a little clip of me coming out of the sea. I definitely recommend Croatia. It is some of the best snorkeling and clearest water that I've ever experienced in Europe or the Virgin Islands. Now, an hour from Bakar is a little island called Kirk Island. You go over a bridge to get to this place. It only takes an hour, so it's well worth it. And we landed in a little town called Stara, Baška. Photo opportunities, absolutely amazing. Snorkeling, insane. And the biggest spiritual lesson I learned was to surrender during a storm. There was a huge storm coming that day. ChatGPT'd recommendations. Should we really snorkel? The water is going to be heavy and unclear. Can we see fish? And got the recommendation. Lean into the storm. Just go. And we did. We went early and we hit that calm before the storm. We watched those fish. And then something beautiful happened. I stayed under the water in the storm. And I watched. I saw raindrops hitting the top of the water. I saw the discomfort in the sea. I saw the bottom of the sea get all swirled up. And I saw that I couldn't see fish anymore. This is a lot like your mind in a storm. You cannot think clearly when you're tossing up sediment, when you're ruminating on thoughts. But guess what? There was some beauty in this storm. There was nobody at the beach. You'll see that in my next clip. Had the whole beach to ourselves. And there was some of the coolest little schools of fish that came out to take advantage of this storm. The beauty of this was tranquility, peace, and surrendering in the storm. And that's where your power lies. And you're surrendering when things get hard. You can only control yourself. You cannot control the storm. You cannot control the tides. But you can make the most of it and see what you can see. Watch those fish catch and release. I came to Bakar, Croatia without a lot of expectations, but I found some of the most profound answers from this tiny little fishing village. And I hope you give it a try too. I didn't come here looking for answers, but something found me anyway. Between the storm clouds, the fish, and the lavender walls. Sometimes peace doesn't arrive in clarity. Sometimes it arrives when you finally stop trying to swim upstream. I left Bakar with a magnet, memories, and a mind a little bit quieter than before. And if you want to continue to quiet your mind with me, please don't forget to subscribe.